So, dear students, I was reading you the news from Times of India about the supply chain of the chip shortage. Okay, so chip supply shortage may last many years, Intel. Okay, so and I was reading about Gelsinger had told the Washington Post in mid-April the shortage was going to take a couple of years to abate, and that it planned to start producing chips within 6 to 9 months to address shortage at US car plants. Intel announced a $20 billion plan. So I'm sorry, Intel announced a $20 billion plan in March to expand its advanced chip manufacturing capacity, building 2 factories in Arizona and opening its plants to outside customers. So we plan to expand to other locations in the US and Europe, ensuring a sustainable and secure semiconductor supply chain for the world. Gelsinger said, without elaborating Intel's plans, could directly challenge the 2 other companies in the world that can make the most advanced chips: Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company and South Korea Samsung Electronics Company. Okay. So Mr. Gelsinger from Intel Corporation is addressing about the shortage of the chips or semiconductors. Okay. And for which they are planning to open 2 new plants at the cost of $20 billion to address the supply shortage. Okay, but still he says it will take many years, for the supply to adjust with demand. Okay, so with this news, let me begin with the last chapter from syllabus. Yeah, students, I hope you can see the PowerPoint slides.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So this is about the coordination in the supply chain. Okay, so since there are many stages involved, and most of the times these stages are individual entities, like supplier of raw material, manufacturer, then distributor, retailer, and customers. These are the stages in the supply chain. And when I say supplier of raw materials, generally, there will be many suppliers of raw materials. If you consider a passenger car, so you'll have suppliers of tire, supplier of battery, supplier of electrical components, supplier of electronics component. Then suppliers of automotive paints, suppliers of seating, suppliers of air conditioning. So if you go on, suppliers of fasteners. So this way, if you go on considering, company will have many number of suppliers of raw materials. Then a manufacturer itself, may have more than one plant. So a multinational company may have multiple plants in different countries. Then there will be hundreds or thousands of distributors, then millions of retailers. So it becomes extremely important for the success of supply chain that the company achieves coordination in the supply chain. Say for example, Dell Incorporation shares its inventory data with Intel Corporation. So Intel is one of the suppliers to Dell company. Dell makes personal computers. Dell shares its real-time demand data. So what is the present level of demand? What are the incoming orders? Including that. Plus, so what are the different types of microprocessors Dell has at the present? What is the inventory level of each microprocessor? So all this data is shared with Intel Corporation. So looking at the data, inventory level of the different types of microprocessors, the incoming orders, and the present level of demand, Intel Incorporation in turn orders its suppliers. So they be ready, when the Dell company orders, so that Intel can deliver on time. So we are talking about coordination. So this way Dell and Intel coordinate with each other, for the success of the supply chain. So I hope you got a slight idea about what I'm talking. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about the supply chain coordination, bullwhip effect, and the impact of bullwhip effect on performance. Identify causes of bullwhip effect and obstacles to coordination in the supply chain. Then discuss managerial levers that help achieve coordination in the supply chain. Then describe actions that facilitate building of strategic partnerships and trust within the supply chain. So let's begin with the lack of supply chain coordination and the bullwhip effect. Okay. So first we need to understand that supply chain coordination improves if all stages in the supply chain take actions that together increase total supply chain profits. Okay. So as I explained, there are many stages involved in a supply chain, from supplier of raw materials, okay, to manufacturers, distributors, retailers, and customers. Okay, the supply chain coordination improves, okay, only if all stages in the supply chain take actions that together increase total supply chain profits. Okay, so the objective of supply chain management is to maximize the overall supply chain profit. Means each stage earns profit. The supplier of raw materials, manufacturer, distributor, wholesaler, everybody earns profit. Okay, so only then supply chain coordination improves. Supply chain coordination requires that each stage takes into account the effects of its action on the other stages. Say in the example which I shared you between Dell and coordination between Dell and Intel. If Dell does not share its inventory data, demand data with Intel, what will happen? See, Intel will not have a clear idea about what order will be coming from Dell company next. And Intel will not be prepared to supply the order from Dell. And only on receipt of the order, if Intel starts preparations, it will delay the delivery. In turn, okay, so if the delivery is delayed, then under such circumstances, Dell has to maintain a large inventory of microprocessors of Intel. So this increases the inventory carrying cost for Dell. But as I have told you, any increase in cost will be borne by the customer. So that will add to the final price to the customer. Okay, so then that may be at the sacrifice of the distributor margin, okay, or retailer margin also, if the company wants to maintain same price. Or if the company increases the price as there is increase in inventory carrying cost, then it will affect the demand. So this way, supply chain coordination requires that each stage takes into account the effects of its action on the other stages. If Dell decides not to share the demand data and inventory data with Intel, this all can happen. Okay, whatever I told. So everybody will be affected. Okay, so it is required that one stage, say for example, supplier of raw materials or manufacturer, for example. So when they take a decision, okay, they should consider its effect on the other stages of the supply chain. Only then coordination can be achieved. Then the lack of coordination results when objectives of different stages conflict. Okay, so if the objectives of a supplier of raw materials and manufacturer are different, then okay, coordination cannot be achieved. Or information moving between stages is distorted. So if there is communication distortion, okay, between the stages, then also coordination cannot be achieved. Okay, so when we say that lack of coordination results when information moving between stages is distorted, okay, the best way to understand this is with bullwhip effect. So how communication is distorted between the stages from consumer to retailer, retailer to distributor, distributor to manufacturer. As the information moves upwards, okay, it goes on distorting. So how that creates, okay, lack of coordination. So this we are going to learn with the help of bullwhip effect. Okay, so fluctuations, what is the bullwhip effect? Fluctuations in order increase. Okay, fluctuations in means change in demand or orders. Fluctuations in orders increase as they move up the supply chain from retailers to wholesalers to manufacturers to suppliers. Okay, say for example, there is a small increase in demand from the retail, from the consumers. Okay, then the retailer will order for some additional goods, okay, in his next order from the wholesaler. So when most of the retailers start ordering, okay, in the market, so when consumers are demanding more, okay, then all the retailers will also increase their order size with the wholesaler. Okay, then when all the retailers are increasing their order size, wholesaler will also increase his order size to the manufacturer. So when all the wholesaler, most of the wholesalers are increasing their order size, manufacturer has to increase the production of the products, for which purpose he will place a larger order of raw materials with the suppliers. So this way, when fluctuations in order increase, as they move up the chain from retailers to wholesalers to manufacturers to suppliers. But what is communication distortion here is, say for example, there is only an increase of, I will take small numbers so that you can understand. I'll take small numbers so that you can understand. So in the overall market, the total the product is being sold, let us say about 100 units are being sold. 100 units are being sold at a time, given time point in time. And all of a sudden consumer demand increases in the market, let us say by 10 units. So earlier, all the retailers, wholesalers, manufacturers had maintained a level where the demand of 100 units can be met. But now there is an increase in demand for 10 units. So the actual increase in demand is 10 units. So consumers have started demanding in the market 10 units more. Okay, but the retailers will order slightly. Let us say there are 10 retailers. Okay, and each retailer is ordering 10 units, okay, per order, 10 units per order. Now there is increase in demand from the consumer end. So actually each one has to order 1 unit extra, 11 units. So if 10 retailers order 11 units each, it will be 110 units. But what the retailers will do, they will assume that the demand is further going to increase, okay. And instead of ordering 11 units, they may order, let us say, 12 units, 13 units, or 15 units. Let us say if the retailers order 15 units, so there are 10 retailers, it will be 150 units, whereas the actual demand is only 110. So when the wholesaler receive the orders, okay, so earlier he used to receive the total order from whole or retailers is 100 units only. So now the order size has increased to 150 units. So wholesaler earlier used to maintain a inventory of 100 units. Usually they maintain a little bit extra. Okay, I hope you know, extra inventory as a buffer stock. Okay, now the wholesaler will also increase the inventory level at his warehouse. So if the demand from retailers is 150 units total demand, he will maintain a, okay, or he will maintain an inventory level of maybe 200 or 250 units, assuming that the demand is further going to increase. Then when the wholesaler start putting an order of 250 units, manufacturer also has to expand production capacity or increase production. So for which he need to order additional raw materials. So instead of ordering the raw materials for 250 units, the manufacturer orders raw materials to manufacture 300 or 350 units. So this is what we call it as communication distortion. And this is what is bullwhip effect. Okay, so Procter & Gamble coined the term, this company P&G, Procter & Gamble coined the term bullwhip effect by studying the demand fluctuations for Pampers. So this term is given by this company Procter & Gamble. So I hope you know what is the bullwhip effect. So we'll learn more about bullwhip effect. So what I explained, see, this is a small increase in demand at the consumer level. But when you look at the retailer's inventory, look at this peak, it is greater than the actual consumer demand. Then when the retailer start, okay, placing larger order quantities, wholesalers maintains a inventory level which is way beyond or way more than the retail orders. See, you can see here. So this is the level of inventory now maintained by wholesale, okay, which is far above the retail demand or retail inventory. Okay, when wholesalers maintain this level of inventory, the manufacturer maintains further higher level of inventory of finished goods. See, again, it is far more than what the actual demand from wholesalers are. So this effect goes on increasing. This communication distortion goes on increasing. And what happens? Okay, every stage maintains excess inventory. Okay, and after a certain period, okay, so inventory remains unsold at each stage with the supplier of raw materials, with the manufacturer, with the wholesaler, as well as with the retailer. Then the simple way to liquidate the remaining stock is sell it by way of offering sales promotion offers like discounts. Okay, then the supply chain profit reduces for each member in the supply chain or each stage in the supply chain. Okay, so that is what is bullwhip effect. Now, why bullwhip effect occurs? Okay, reasons that bullwhip effect occurs. See, one is overreacting to the backlog orders. So as I mentioned, what I explained in the previous slide is nothing but overreacting to the backlog orders, or little or no communication between supply chain partners. Okay, especially in India. Okay, the retail sector is dominated by unorganized retailers. So there is no actual communication between retailers and manufacturers. Okay, then delay times. Okay, whereas in advanced developed nations, the penetration of organized retail is up to 90 to 95%. Okay, so you hope I hope you know how organized retailers work. Okay, so they are connected with the manufacturers. So there is a direct communication between the organized retailers and the manufacturers. But in a country like India, yes, there is little or no communication between supply chain partners. Delay times between order processing, demand, and receipt of goods. Okay, so many times it may happen that during the Diwali season, okay, the retailer might have placed an order, but you will receive the goods after Diwali season. Okay, if any of you are business class from business, you might have experienced this. So delay times between order processing, demand, and receipt of products. Okay. Then order batching. Method for reduction of ordering costs due to price discounts for bulk ordering or transportation expense decrease by ordering full truckloads. Okay, order batching. So why sometimes retailers or wholesalers place a larger order? Okay, because if the order is going to be in bulk, they will get the maximum discounts. Though there might not be any increase in demand, but still some retailers and wholesalers place a larger order than the demand, okay, hoping to get the deepest discounts. Okay, and the later stage, okay, like maybe wholesaler or a manufacturer will assume that there is increase in demand and they start, okay, increasing their inventory level. Then limitations on order size, okay. If retailers can order products in cases of 10 from wholesaler, okay, however, for distributors receive orders in cases of 1,000. Okay, so cases here means, let us say, consider the example of liquor. Okay, so liquor sale is measured in terms of cases. So one case may include about 12 to 24 bottles depending on the size. Okay, so if maybe it is a liquor, okay, or soft drinks, okay, when you order, okay, in certain number, okay, so they will receive, company will put a restriction on the order size, minimum 10 cases, okay, the retailer should order, or minimum 1,000 cases a wholesaler should order. Okay, so since it is mandatory to order in that large size, retailers and wholesalers keep ordering, though the actual demand might be low. Then what will happen? They end up with, after meeting the demand, unsold. Okay, after meeting the demand, unsold inventory remains with retailer, wholesaler, as well as with the manufacturer. Okay, then inaccurate demand forecasts. Okay, so let us say the demand forecasted, okay, is about the company would sell about 1,000 units, for example. Okay, but whereas the actual demand is only 500 units. What will happen to the remaining 500 units? It will remain unsold. So, okay, so we call it inaccurate demand forecast, or a major error a larger error in demand accuracy of the demand forecasting. And free return policies. Okay, so if there are certain products, okay, where there is a free return policy, where retailers and wholesalers can return the product when they are unsold, then the retailer and wholesaler will not think while placing order. They'll place order for any quantity, even a larger size, because they know if it is not being sold, they can always return the product. In such case, also the at the retail level and wholesale level, a larger level of inventory is maintained. Okay, so that was about what is a bullwhip effect and what are the reasons for the occurrence of bullwhip effect. So I'll pause here for a couple of minutes. If you have any doubts, you please ask. Yeah, any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Anything you would like to share from news or okay, no problem. So let me continue with the PowerPoint slides. Okay. So now the next topic in the chapter is the effect of lack of coordination on the performance of supply chain. If coordination is not achieved, how it would affect the supply chain performance. Okay, so achieving coordination in the supply chain is so crucial. Okay, so crucial for the performance of the supply chain. So if coordination is not achieved in the supply chain, coordination between whom? Coordination between the suppliers of raw materials, and manufacturers, distributors, and wholesalers, sometimes even with the customers. So if this coordination is not achieved between these stages of supply chain, manufacturing costs increase. Okay, because as I said in bullwhip effect, a small increase in the demand at the customer end will lead to a greater increase in demand at this retailer, wholesaler, and manufacturer end. Even it will affect the supplier of raw materials. Everybody builds additional inventory. Okay, actual more than the actual increase in demand. So when the company has to manufacture additional units, and if the company does not have flexible production capacity, then it has to get it manufactured from a third party. They have to outsource manufacturing or do contract manufacturing. So when you do it in the last minute, they charge a higher price and manufacturing cost thus increases. Inventory cost increases because though there is a small increase in demand, but we saw here. Okay, so though there is a small increase in demand, okay, at the customer level, see this is the actual normal demand, and this is much is the increase in demand. But when you look at the retailer, okay, so each goes on responding, okay, to this small increase in demand with a much more higher level of inventory. Okay, retailers will place larger orders, wholesalers will place further larger orders with manufacturers. Manufacturer places further larger orders with the supplier of raw materials. Okay, so due to this reason, inventory level and each stage goes on increasing. And as the inventory level increases, okay, proportionately the inventory carrying cost also increases and affects supply chain profits. Replenishment lead time increases. See, as the orders start increasing, it becomes difficult for the wholesalers, manufacturers, and suppliers of raw materials to supply the demand in time. So replenishment is fulfilling the order, okay, or the delivery time. Okay. And the level of product availability. So as the manufacturing capacity will be limited, okay, and the demand suddenly start increasing from the retail end and wholesale end, okay, the level of product availability decreases. So that is what news I read about, okay, chip, okay, supply shortage in the global market. Okay, so there is a shortage of semiconductors or chips of Intel. Okay, in the market, for which the company Intel Corporation is planning to start two new plants at the cost of 20 billion US dollars. Okay, so right now the level of product availability is low. Then transportation cost, yes, increases because increased movement of the goods. Okay, because of the increased orders. Okay, from wholesaler to retailer, from manufacturer to wholesaler, from supplier of raw materials to manufacturers, the frequency of transportation increases, which leads to increase in transportation cost. Labor cost for shipping and receiving increases. Okay, as the movement of the goods increase, okay, that leads to increase in labor cost for shipping and receiving, or loading and unloading. Relationships across the supply chain worsens. Okay, so what I mentioned here, actually there is a small increase in demand. Okay, but each stage, like retailer, wholesaler, manufacturer, okay, go on maintaining much more higher level of inventory than the actual increase in demand. Okay, so once the increase in demand is met, okay, so all the excess inventory maintained at the retailer level, wholesaler stage and manufacturer stage remains unsold. Okay, then, okay, each stage starts blaming, okay, each other. Okay, wholesaler say to the retailers, you placed the wrong order size, okay, with me, for which I had to maintain larger inventory level. Then manufacturer blames, okay, wholesaler. Supplier of raw material blames manufacturer, because unsold inventory, okay, remains in the at each stage of supply chain. Okay, unless you sell it, okay, you won't get money. Okay, your working capital will be blocked. Okay, that is the first thing. Second, now demand is met. How are you going to sell the additional inventory? So one option is you have to sell it at a discount. So when you sell the merchandise at a discount, it affects your gross margin or profits across the supply chain. That is the reason why relations between the retailers, wholesalers, manufacturers, and suppliers worsens, and profitability decreases. Okay, so that's all about bullwhip effect, or the effect of lack of coordination on performance of supply chain. Okay, so any part of this which is which you are not understood, if you have any doubts, any questions you want to ask?
No questions, sir.
Okay. Yeah, at least for interaction. Okay, I'll ask some student to read. Read the slide itself. We'll read. Okay. Prashant, are you there? Prashant Lahoti.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please read the slide, just for interaction. Nothing is happening.
Yes, sir.
1 minute. Okay, you read these 2 lines with the heading.
Bullwhip effect. Fluctuations in orders increase as they move up the supply chain, from retailers to wholesalers to manufacturers to suppliers. Procter and Gamble coined the term bullwhip effect by studying the demand fluctuations for Pampers.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so otherwise, since last half an hour, I'm feeling I'm alone in the class. Thank you, Prashant. Okay. So now the next topic in the chapter is obstacles to coordination in a supply chain. So knowing that the lack of coordination affects the performance of supply chain, definitely every company wants to achieve coordination in the supply chain, but still it is difficult for the companies to achieve coordination in a supply chain. It means coordination between retailers, wholesalers, manufacturers, and suppliers of raw materials. So why it is difficult to achieve coordination? Because there are certain problems or certain obstacles are there that prevent a company from achieving coordination in a supply chain between the stages. Okay. So what are the obstacles or problems that prevent a company from achieving coordination in a supply chain between the stages? So one is incentive obstacles. Second is information processing obstacles. Third is operational obstacles, pricing obstacles, and behavioral obstacles. Now let us learn these obstacles in detail and understand how these obstacles prevent a company from achieving coordination in a supply chain. So I hope you are with me. What we are going to discuss, you are able to understand. Now, this topic is going to get more interesting, but only if you are paying attention and if you keep a little bit of interaction. Keep a little bit of interaction. Okay. So first is incentive obstacles. Okay. So incentives are nothing but the rewards. Okay. So it may be from manufacturer to wholesaler or from manufacturer to retailers or manufacturer to customers, or it may be even rewards for employees at any stage. Okay. Rewards for employees of supply chain at any stage. So local optimization within functions or stages of a supply chain. Okay, so I think it is less than 1 minute remaining now. So you have to join back the same meeting. Okay. So I'll continue in the next session. So please join back the same meeting. Huh? Yeah, just maybe
Okay, sir.
half a minute is remaining.